Now I'm glad you brought up safe words, and I'm glad you brought up vanilla because we're going to talk about lifestyle lingo. This is important because you don't want to be somewhere and there's a vanilla, meaning that this person is not, there's not, they know about the lifestyle or they aware of it, but they're not a part of it.
They're basically not, they're basically monogamous. Mm-hmm. And what have you, they're not open-minded to our lifestyle, and they're basically vanilla, they're plain.
And normally when other lifestyles come around, you make it aware that this person is vanilla, so other lifestyles would know how to act. Because you know when we come together, it's hey, let me feel your titties, and it's like let me touch your butt. But you can't do that if per se my mom was sitting right there, or per se Auntie Betty is here. You just coming over. Hey boo. No, that's my auntie, vanilla. However way you gotta say it, right. Vanilla. Like hey.
Vanilla is the key word.
And that's one of the key words. Like now, finding safe words.
Right.
Safe words is important.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want a safe word like pineapples. Everybody know what pineapple is.
You need something that only you and your mate know. Y'all have time to talk about it, and something that is not going to make that other person aware or feel awkward also.
And then also safe words is important because if you're in the middle of sexual activity and something is not right, like I'm not feeling it, you don't want to make the other couple feel uncomfortable. So if I say like we were in a situation and I said one of our safe words while he was fucking me because his dick was like the size of an arm and a bubble gut, like it was just. So it was uncomfortable. We did that at the same time. It was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. It began to be uncomfortable. Not saying that he did anything wrong. It just was a little bit uncomfortable for me. So I said my safe word, and he was like, "Hey, let's switch," because he heard it automatically, and it was like not to stop your fun, but it was I'm not comfortable right now. We're teamwork. Can you get me out of this situation?
Yeah, it was a distress call that I had to pay attention for. A lot of times you may be in a situation where you need to pay attention to your spouse. Eye contact is good and what have you. Safe words, eye contact, all that goes in the same bracket.
Yeah, and if you don't have those, then it will become argumentative because once we're done with this experience, it's like, oh, you should have said something. What I was supposed to do? Stop in the middle of
I didn't know.
What am I supposed to do? Stop in the middle of that pussy? I didn't know,
You should have said stop.
You should have said stop. What do you mean to stop? She would have felt uncomfortable because she would have thought I didn't want her.
And then you have a big argument.
You have an argument over something that could have been resolved right then and there.
Right away, right.
Just as fast.
Because it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that I want to feel my mate right now because that's what we are, a team.
Right. And
we don't take one for the team.
You have to call in the picture and what have you. Hey, I need a little break and what have you in between because he's doing X, Y, and Z. So.
Yeah. And even with him, he had safe words with chick with almost chewing off his dick. He's like, baby,
I don't like using teeth and what have you. They felt that, hey, this will turn them on. They did the opposite. So I said my safe word and she came over
and
let me take over.
The rest take over. That's right. I know that's right.
So it wasn't, but you see how it could have became.
Exactly.
Issue,
So this is why we try to avoid the major situations that could potentially become an argument.
Exactly.
It's all about the team. We make it work. Now, full swap. Let's talk about some full swap.
What do you know about full swap? What do you think the term means?
Well, full swapping is two.
Look at him, he's smiling about that.
No, I'm saying, I did my research on it a little bit. But anyway, full swap is, I think that is, when two couples and both of them is the husband with the other woman and the wife with the other man, and that's a full swap.
What about y'all?
Yeah, but shall we bring in the soft swap talk? Because when I think of, I'm just gonna play it how I think of it. Full swap, everything with the inclusion of penetration. Soft swap, everything without it. Sort of like foreplay.
Well, soft swap is everything without your orally.
oral,
like
touching,
oral pleasure,
petting.
touching, feeling all over each other, things of that matter. Full swap is penetration. It's full penetration, but it's penetration on each end. We're
that's what I mean.
swapping
That's
each
what I mean.
other. So I'm sleeping with your man,
Right.
you're
The
sleeping with my
whole
man,
360.
and we'll do it together. Now you do have where you have your unicorn come in, and it's not, you can't consider a full swap because it's not couple. Full swap mainly happens with just couple.
Right.
And a unicorn is a young lady, a female, and she
the
comes
triad.
in. She comes in and she does what she does with the couple, what have you, and she goes on about her business. If she wants to join a couple in a relationship, in a polyamorous relationship, which is something totally different, then that's when she become a triad couple. So
Now, question
Go
then.
ahead.
Sure.
So we got a name for. I was always wondering this. We got a name for the female.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got your guys that really understand the lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and they like to deal with. There's some guys that like to deal with
Mm-hmm.
couples. So
Mhm.
even though back in time they weren't accepted because they didn't have anything to lose,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly do they name them nowadays? Like, do they even have a name?
The guys are generally called studs,
Mhm.
or for the Caucasian community, it's a BBC,
BBC.
which is big black cock.
What they were white?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
That's the way.
What were they? Anything other than black?
I mean, but
It's
stud.
It's
Okay.
normally with the females unicorn, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think a guy should be called the unicorn as well because it's a third party joining in.
Right.
Other people don't. Hey, to each his own. But I feel like, it's just a guy coming in. It's just like a female. It's no difference. It's just that he's a guy. I would call him a unicorn too. Like, that's just my definition of it. But because I feel like I don't want guys to feel different either. Me and him, we mainly deal with females, right? That's just normally us or couples. I will bring a single guy in sometimes. We've had situations where we brought a single guy in, and he was absolutely fine with it. The first time we did it,
his end, I was on my end.
yeah, and we made it work. He was on his side, he was on that side. We had one of his coworkers.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Communication.
it's communication.
Hello.
Communication makes the dream work, right?
That's right.
One of his coworkers, I said, baby, I like him. Like, he was nice and buff and stuff. So I was like, baby, like, I want to try him. He went over to him, was like, yo, my wife likes you. And
He was shocked.
he was shocked as all hell. Like, he was like, what? For real? And he's like, y'all shaking me. He came over one night, things happened, and shit went down.
And we're still together.
And we're still together. Okay? But we made it work because we had that communication. I expressed to him what I want. I'm not going to sit here and want something and not tell him what I want.
It goes back to a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
A closed mouth don't get fed. I'm not going to say this is, hey, I see that. Or if I want some pussy, baby, listen here. I'm having a fiend here. Like, it's just, I need that a part of our bedroom. He's like, okay, no problem. He wants some pussy, baby, let's make a few phone calls. We make it happen. That's the captain.
And that's
Because we're a team.
and the team like the unicorn sometimes.
Yes.
The real version of
Yes.
it.
Now we're gonna do something different. When we come back, right? First, can you stand up for me? Can you stand up for me? Can y'all switch spots? And we'll be right back.